Hey guys, so I wanted to finally finish off this... Hey guys, so I've been meaning to do this review for a while now. I've got some light coming in from my right hand side and I've got really strong lights up there because the room is really dark and it's the only way to get a clean video, so sorry if I'm squinting at all during this video. So I've been meaning to do the review of the Glenfiddich 15-year-old Distillery Edition for about 6 months now, and my first attempt to do the review didn't go so well. But is the Glenfiddich 15-year-old Distillers Edition any better than Glenfiddich 15-year-old? Yeah, it's better. Yeah, so I thought I'd redo it and see how it goes this time round. So, Glenfiddich 15-year-old Distillery Edition. Well, the first thing to note is that, well, the name, Distillery Edition. The term Distillery Edition makes me think of when you see the director's cut of a film. It makes you think that it must be somehow better than the original because it's how the distillery intended this whiskey to be. But is it actually any better than the original Glenfiddich 15-year-old? Jim Murray gives the 15-year-old Distillery Edition 93.5 out of 100 in the 2012 Whiskey Bible, noting that it hints of banana skins and dried coconut on the nose, while the palate sees heavy fruit and vanilla, but lacks the finish of its original counterpart. However, it should be noted that Jim Murray also gives Johnnie Walker Red Label quite a high review as well, so let's see what I think of this whiskey and I'll give you my tasting notes. So I'm going to pour a little bit, almost down to my last few glasses. Been enjoying this one quite a lot lately. So, same old bottle, nice presentation as ever. You get what you expect with Glenfiddich. I'll just see if it makes a nice popping sound. I don't know if you can hear that. Probably not, but it sounds pretty good. Right off the bat, straight away, it smells just like banana. It's hard to get much out of the smell at first because of its overpowering sweetness. That's quite similar to the 15-year-old. They both are a lot sweeter than the 12-year-old. The 12-year-old's a lot crispier, a lot fresher, more apples, more kind of light spices. 15-year-old, normal 15-year-old, is a lot mellower, a lot fruitier, less apples, but more of a desserty style taste. And the Distillery Edition to me is kind of like the 15-year-old, but slightly more pronounced. There are still hints of apple in this, but it's more of a savoury apple. It's more like bramley apple. But bramley apple that you'd get once it's been cooked in a pie, so it's not a tart smell. So what's it like taste-wise? I forgot to mention that it's actually 51%, which is 11% higher than what you'd expect usually. And I forgot that, so it's quite overpowering. Even after 2 years of having this, there's still a big alcohol kick. It gets me every time. But it's a very pleasant, kind of smooth alcohol kick. So we have spice, we have a fruity kick. The Distillery Edition is a bit more mellow on the palate than the normal 15-year-old, in that I'm getting a lot more raisins and chocolate raisins and dried fruit. Now you can add water to this. I think you should probably, if you want to avoid burning your tongue. And so after water, it's definitely opening up the more savoury flavours here. I can finally taste that spicy black pepper that the box has been talking about. It says, nose delicate floral aromas with hints of freshly ground black pepper and vanilla. Well, I'm finally getting the black pepper, and that's only after putting water in it, and I'm sure 2 years ago when I bought this I couldn't taste any black pepper, but it's finally here. The finish is very smooth. It doesn't linger for that long, but it's very nice while it lasts. before, when I first bought this, the finish was a lot more intense, kind of quite overwhelming, quite filling in a way, like I just drank a dessert, if you know what I mean. So all in all, Glenfiddich 15-year-old Distillery Edition is absolutely superb. It's one of my favourite whiskies. I used to prefer the 15-year-old when I drank, or when I bought Glenfiddich, but I would probably say that I prefer the Glenfiddich, the 15-year-old Distillery Edition, not necessarily because it has an obvious improvement in taste, because I don't think the change in taste is an obvious improvement, but the fact that it's 11% higher alcohol, I think makes it inherently better, because you have the flexibility of being able to add water and kind of customize it to your own preference. And the more water you add, I find, the more flavors you get out. The problem is, after a certain amount of water, it becomes diluted, and the flavors, while you get more of them, they become weaker. So having that extra 11% is really cool, because it means that you get to add more water without losing that intensity. And in fact, I can add even more. Brilliant. So if you're someone who's had the 12-year-old Glenfiddich and you're wanting to explore different brands of Glenfiddich, then the 15-year-old is an obvious progression, partly because it's not worlds apart from the 12-year-old, taste-wise and price-wise. So should you go for the Distillery Edition? Well, it really depends on the availability, because I personally haven't seen the Distillery Edition available on the high street. I've only seen it at the duty-frees, but then I'm in the UK, so it could be different depending on whereabouts in the world you live. As for the choice between the 15-year-old and the Distillery Edition, I really wouldn't worry too much which one you get, because they're not going to be majorly different taste experiences. Really, what you're getting with the Distillery Edition is the extra alcohol content, and I think that's really what the whole point of the Distillery Edition was to give you that opportunity to have a more tailored drinking experience. But what do I know? So definitely recommended. If you see it, I would absolutely recommend getting it, especially if you're already looking for a good, robust Speyside whiskey. I'm a poor student and I was able to buy this with some Christmas money, so it's relatively inexpensive and a really, really good dram. So that's it for this review. I'll hopefully see you soon. Thanks for watching.
To kids from 1 to 92.